All right, guys. So today's topic is called beating the odds. So, a little bit about my story. Before I had colitis, I had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And that started in 2013. That was the first time I really faced any adversity in my life or bodybuilding career. I had just won my first show in the best shape of my life. And the day after the show, I started getting a flare up, which at the time I didn't really know what it was. And I ended up losing 50 pounds in 2 weeks in the hospital. 50 pounds. It was, just earth shattering. I went from basically being on top of the world to being rock bottom. And I'm trying to figure out at the time what I'm going to do and what does this mean for my job, my career? What does this mean? Like, how am I going to beat this? And I'm listening to music because that's about the only thing you can do in the hospital, and just trying to pass the time, find motivation. One of my favorite songs, in the lyrics, it says, "Will I make it to the end, or will I crawl away and die?" And at that moment, it just kind of clicked. And I had to decide. You have to make a decision for yourself. You have to choose what you're going to do. Things don't just happen. You have to actually make a choice. And at that moment, I chose, I'm not going out like this. Like, this is not going to be the end of my story. So, long story short, what happened was, once I had gotten the clearance to train, which was 4 months later, my first day back in the gym, this is hard to actually imagine. I was hooded. It was 94 degrees. I went to the LA Fitness Apple Valley because that wasn't my typical gym, so I wanted to stay hidden because I was so ashamed and embarrassed. I literally had a hat on, I had my headphones, I had my hoodie up, I had sweatpants. And remember, I'm only about 150 pounds now. I'd lost 50 pounds. So I went in and I'm like, well, it's legs. We're going to start with legs. I could not squat just the bar, just the 45-pound bar, for more than 5 reps. And there were a few people that recognized me, and they're probably thinking, like, what the hell is Chris doing? Like, what the hell's going on here? I literally racked the bar, could not get more than 5 reps. I went on to the leg press. My legs were so shaky, like I had never trained in my entire life. I did a couple sets, and then I left. And I came back the next day, and I did upper body and so forth. But the moral of the story is, it literally took everything away from me, this flare up. But like I've said before, little by little, you chip away, every single rep, every single meal, basically until I gained the entire 50 pounds back. And I went on to win a huge title in California, the Iron Games. And I ended up beating the odds. So if you fast forward, New Year's Eve, 2019, you guys know I had the massive colitis flare. They had tried every single medication available and even some trial meds. Nothing worked. So I had my entire colon removed, and I had an ileostomy bag, which I had for months. I ended up losing 50 pounds in the process again. So 50 pounds down again. You guys saw the story from 2021. I went on, I won the overall at the Brew City, which was incredible, especially for, my friends that could be there, Stephanie, of course. And then January, I had an emergency blockage, something that should never happen. So I had the bag yet again for 4 months. I ended up losing a tremendous amount of weight. Couldn't train for 5 months. I couldn't do anything, not even cardio. And now I'm back at it again. The best I have ever looked this off season, the best I have ever looked for 29 weeks out. And the moral of the story is, maybe you're fighting alcoholism that runs in your family. All the odds are stacked against you. Maybe all of your family is extremely overweight. Whatever the case it is, you have to choose to beat the odds. You guys hear it all the time and time again. People are like, man, I wish I could do what you do. I wish I had all the time to devote to training and eating right. And the answer is simple. That's just an excuse. You're going to make whatever is important to you a priority. So there's something to be said, of course, with proving people wrong. That's never really been my priority. But, there's a lot to be said about proving it to yourself. So whatever it is for you guys, whatever it is that where the deck is stacked against you, I urge you to beat the odds.